Travis went good, so. Well, it took over 6 hours to retransfer the computer document files that I had transferred the previous day to my computer, which has almost filled it up. As I need to now delete those files, but save the previous my self-publications that I have been working on, so that I can work on the updated big book of signs for the latter days. Revision, new editing, whatever it's called, updated version. What a mess. So technically I shouldn't be doing this video, because it still will continue to fill up my space on my computer. And interestingly also is there was a person who I guess I must have deleted. It must have been one of the secret coders trying to clickbait me. But because I haven't had a Mormon that I've needed to ban from my channel in a while. But they are sure out in force for LDS Mormon prophet orders gratitude for suffering he caused. I've got an extra 4 angry Mormons on that one, other than the 2 typical Russians who constantly let me know they're watching. But they got to keep track of their investment. They gave the church $32 billion. They don't want it messed up with some guy who has figured out that the prophets are frauds because they don't know how to translate. And Joseph Smith did, but they claim that he didn't. And so, yeah, lots of fun. But that's the scandal cover-up exposed that I did. And it's doing okay for the analytical problems that it's causing. Thanks, Amanda, for the video. Because you commented on a video you previously commented, YouTube deletes it from me once I click the approve. And so if I didn't catch which video it was that you were commenting on, I end up having to search through thousands of videos trying to find where your comment is. And then there's Random Muse, who disappears altogether. And I can't find any of his comments. But yeah. So if it's a first timer, then yeah, I can see them in the other need to respond file section, and what's it called? The published section versus held for review. So, yeah. What's interesting is watching Castle during the time that the files were being transferred. I came across an episode here in season 2 that I'm currently on that involved mob and criminal activity of a very wealthy family, and it was the matriarch of the family who was a little bit on the Looney Tune side, but when you mentioned the woman she ordered murdered, she gets really upset. And so when she said that she had her handled, and they asked who handled it, all of a sudden it triggered back into what I've been telling you guys about when I first went to the church, told them that Joseph Smith is a translator. F. Michael Watson stepped interference for the church, went to the BYU Hebraeus, who's most likely John Tvetnes, and came back and gave me a BS answer that I already knew from my schooling. And so one day at church in the younger singles ward, I get informed that I have to go in to see the stake president. And so I go to the office and knock on the door, and the door opens, and the full stake presidency and the full bishopric of that younger singles ward are all crammed into that tiny little room that they were in. And I was stuck in the hall, or in the space by the stake president's desk and the door, and it was very crowded. And not only were they interrogating me to find out who else I've told so that they can go after them too, but the stake president said that F. Michael Watson told him to handle it. Fortunately, it's a religion, and so contacting stake presidents is not a situation where I'm going to get whacked. But man, was I interrogated as if I were in a police station, as if I had committed some crime and they wanted everybody involved in the crime. All I did was show that Joseph Smith was a translator, and they didn't care any about that. Nothing. They didn't care about my research. They weren't interested in any of that. They wanted to know who I told. It was just, it was really eye-opening, to say the least. It wasn't scary, because I've been in situations where people have actually wanted to kill me. But I mean, to have my whole local leadership gathered together to handle me. Yeah, they were looking to excommunicate me, that's for sure. But I mean, my goodness. And that's the whole thing, is that during this whole time, nobody has wanted to learn Paleo-Hebrew or Egyptian petroglyphs in the church. Paleo-Hebrew has been my #1 seller on Amazon. And it's the most common viewed on academia.edu. But I don't have any of those people coming to me. I don't get to know who they are or anything like that. But here in the local wards that I've been in Utah, with my family even, and new family that I marry into, nobody's interested. They just don't care. And it becomes a situation where they turn on me when I say that Joseph Smith is a translator. And so that's the sad part, is that Mormons look for and wait for the prophets to give them a new commandment. So when Hinckley came out in the Young Women's Fireside and recommended that girls only wear one earring in each ear, it went to the extreme, and everybody says, oh, we're banning earrings, oh, we can't wear earrings anymore, no body piercings of any kind. And then you get all these testimonials, I followed the prophet and I took out my 373 piercings because I know that he speaks for God. I'm being a little exaggerated there, but yeah, there were women who had the whole ear lobe covered in piercings, and so there was that. But it was a recommendation. I heard his talk. I was there at the church when it was showing on the satellite, and then to see it morph from the institute during the week and until conference, where he then made it official, because I guess word got back to him, or since he's talking to moms and dads, he's able to be a little more bold and say, oh, I told the girls not to wear earrings, and so the parents are going, oh, okay, yeah, well, great. We can make our daughters appear not to be SLUTSs. I mean, that's how horrible it is. And watching that Castle episode, seeing that rich family behave, that white supremacy all over it. And that was my family upbringing. My mom came from wealth, and she acted exactly like that old woman. But yeah, I have had my life threatened on numerous occasions, and I still see the two that I had kept in the spam folder that YouTube has now done away with, and threatened that they're going to delete them in 60 days, even though they've been up there longer than 60 days. They were carried over, but I only see them when somebody else makes a comment. If nobody else makes a comment, they're gone. I don't see them. But yeah, I have one Mormon and one Islamic follower who both gave me their death threats. The Islamic follower was just a general one because I'm not Muslim, not a follower of Islam and Allah, and so that's their interpretation, is that if you're not Islam, if you're not Islamic, then you are a heathen and you are supposed to burn and be destroyed. So that's where the fundamentalists go a little awry, is because as I read it from what he posted, it's only for those who are Islamic in the first place, who then go against Allah, who are supposed to burn. It's not supposed to go after heathens. But, as we know from history, that wasn't the case with Muhammad either. Anyway, I'm kind of surprised that the 1 million of you who have left. Oh, that's why. Oh, I took out the Thanksgiving for 11 million ex-Mormons. I need to change that right now. Oh man, it's probably not gonna work, because I already put in the Mormons. No wonder nobody's coming to this one. There we go. Let's see if that does better. 11 Mormons. 11 million Mormons. No wonder nobody knew. Alright, let's see if that does any better. A lot of typing errors. A lot of, even when I listened to the full 42-minute, 22-second video, LDS Mormon Church Translation Scandal Cover-Up Exposed, I even catch where I was going to explain something, but then diverted and intended to come back, didn't come back, and then I kept calling Utah Territory Salt Lake Territory. So yeah, I obviously make mistakes. I'm just winging these videos. I don't have a script. I don't do this professionally, as you can tell from the video quality. To keep the file size as low as possible without making it blurry, as it can be with a 360. I make it a 720, but my video even has the name HD 1080p in the name of the particular brand I have. But larger file size, I would need to have another storage device if I were to do all of these in 1080s. So, yeah, because I had translated "The Church Wants Me Dead," they spent their whole time destroying me and yet trying to keep me out of the public. And with the whole online internet thing, they're having a tougher time doing it. And so they've had to invest in the social media platforms and the websites so that they can control anything I put up there. So that's why I'm cut back by YouTube, because they're ordered to put in their programming for their analytical program the situation. But yeah. So anyway, that's just to let you, remind you that I have been threatened over and over and over again by the landlord and property manager and Bishop Reed Hammond, which now I understand. I didn't understand at first, but now it makes sense why he would think that he needs to protect the church, and why he said that my manuals were going against the leaders of the church, where I hadn't gotten that far into church history yet. So what is he saying? What does he mean? But yeah, if I say Joseph Smith is a translator and that there's Egyptian in the Book of Mormon, that yes, I am going against the church, as I was warned by the first president, first counselor in the stake presidency back with F. Michael Watson scandal, because the stake president, when he said, "I'm going to go to the church administration building and talk to President Hinckley himself," well, he never came back. And the first counselor said, "You can continue your research, but don't go against the church." Well, yeah, and I now understand, is that saying that Joseph Smith is a translator is going against the church. And they want me dead, they want me silenced, they want me suppressed, oppressed, depressed, repressed, etc. Punished. And yeah, so Bishop Reed Hammond, it makes sense now. is because he too does not want Mormons being translators, showing that Joseph Smith was a translator, because it means that the current presidency and the branch off from Brigham Young is false. They're the fraudulent church that are just stealing the name, and they actually added to the name, because Joseph Smith's name was the same the whole time, as I had found out from the Joseph Smith papers. Can't believe they put a link so that you have to find out the actual name that Joseph Smith kept it as through to his death. God. I mean, you can't even trust the Joseph Smith papers now. You have to actually fact check the Joseph Smith papers. Unbelievable. So yeah, I was kind of concerned when I did my copy and paste of the Doctrine and Covenants, when I found out after I had done that. And so I went online to see if somebody else had an original 1835 Doctrine and Covenants. And yes, there was one that I was able to download. But dear God. I mean, they just cannot stop lying and deceiving us. It's just horrifying. But yeah, this Russia thing, that's why they're hinge pointing and taking the church speedily down a different direction, is because they're preparing for what's coming with the destruction of America, and them thinking they're going to rise from the ashes as the new religion of Lucifer, as Albert Pike suggested. And they don't want me as a troublemaker in these final hours, final minutes, final seconds, 2 minutes to midnight, to kill the unborn in the womb. Good old Iron Maiden. Yeah, this was why. It wasn't just to get $32 billion so that they can pay $1 billion for the foundation to redo renovate the Salt Lake Temple. I had a regular viewer who's no longer communicating with me anymore. I hope he didn't get caught and busted. Yeah, he was the one that said that he was in charge of laying the cement foundation for the Salt Lake Temple, doing the remodeling, and said it cost $1 billion to do. And yeah, haven't heard from him since. But hope it wasn't coronavirus. But yeah, this coronavirus thing is timed too perfectly. Too perfectly. And so I'm going to check something out. Yeah. Yep. That's what I thought. Right at the beginning of 2020. Those sons of bitches. Yep, they knew. They planned this. This was all coordinated. This is not a coincidence that the Salt Lake Temple is closed for renovation for this year, starting in 2020. Not a coincidence at all. Man. Yep. So, alrighty. 11 million Mormons, you are welcome. No wonder nobody came to it. But yeah, that's all part of Putin's plan. Dear God, we are under attack. But at least I got Judge Tina Campbell's attention. Something that happened in her life as she's, I guess, watching the news or experiencing with her own family or something. Because for 3 weeks, she did not allow my brief to be even placed on the docket. And then yesterday, or Friday, she finally decided to put it up on the docket because she needed it as reference material. And so that is interesting, because if she's going against the church, she doesn't need it as reference material. She can just ignore it and dismiss it, because she should have enough to side with the church without it. So the fact that she's even considering it is either a delay tactic to justify letting me know that she's still thinking and hesitating. But again, every single day, every single hour, every single minute that she hesitates, more people die. And I've just remembered I still got to do the counts for today and for the week, as this is the weekend, Saturday's reporting for coronavirus. And it looks like we're still around 24. So the mask mandate didn't work. So, you know, it was interesting on yesterday's reporting. The percentage of new cases to those tested was 20.8666. So I made sure to put that and then rounded it up to 21% for my week totals. But I mean, this is out of control. I mean, they are literally trying to murder us, and then they all claim, oh, there's nothing we can do, I wash my hands, it's you guys who are to blame, you have to wear masks, but you guys are anti-maskers, and so we're scared. It's you guys who are to blame. No, your government. Since when do you conform to the people? Especially in Utah, especially under conservative Utah. I mean, dear God, he calls protesters terrorists. And so for this, he doesn't know how to handle it? No. And I put it in my complaint and briefings or whatever that the timing suggests otherwise. Herbert was all prepared. He had a task force all ready to go before we even had our first case in Utah. He was prepared. But then cases came and they failed to do what they were prepared to do. And Herbert started firing people in key positions. He started hiring a testing company that was a fake testing company. He bought $800,000 of hydroxychloroquine because the president said that it was something that would heal and cure coronavirus. It's just, I mean, dear God. You know, if he was threatened by the president, all he has to do is go public, say the president told me to do this, and so I'm doing it. That's all he had to do. Instead, he protects and shields the president. But we know that it's for the church that he's doing this. Because Nelson, he's a medical doctor. Of anybody we should know and trust, it's a medical doctor during this time. And yet, on 2 occasions that I know of, that I've got video of, and I could make a little clip, and I have done the one. It was when he held his second fast to cure coronavirus. He says, I'm a man of science, However, I'm also a man of faith. Castle also brought that up in the last episode I watched. Or was it? No. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the one with the rich people also, but regardless. However, Castle's behind him saying, "Is there a butt? I hear a butt coming." No, no butts. However, and so yeah, Nelson uses however. I've been a scientist my whole life, a medical doctor. However, we're not going to handle this virus like a scientist, like a medical doctor. We're going to handle it with dogmatic faith. Because Mormon faith is science-based. It uses agriculture, which is a science field, hard science. And for Nelson to say however, totally terrifying. And that's what he did on Friday. He used however again. He goes and says, "Oh, they're doing a great job fighting the coronavirus. We hope and look forward to a vaccine. However, I'm also a man of faith." And that's where the crime occurs. He's a leader and a medical doctor who's supposed to do no harm. He's supposed to be the one who he claims to be listening to Jesus Christ himself, who wants to save human life, not just eternally, but also physically. And he's claiming that, oh, yeah, it sort of sucks to be suffering physically, doesn't it? But gee, I know how to cure your mental problems, which we'll also call spiritual problems, which we caused because of the physical problems you're going through. And so, yeah, it's frustrating for me because I see the big picture of what they're doing, involving psychology. As psychology creates a new mental illness? Seriously? So yeah, they put business and making money over human life. That's what it comes down to. And then to hear Biden say, "Oh, I'm not going to shut America down. We got to keep the economy going." And it's like, oh dear God, what have we done? Out of the frying pan into the fire. So, like I said, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not liberal. I don't go with that dichotomous categorization of brainwashing they've pulled on us. So, alrighty. That's it for today. Just want you to know, the church wants me dead because I'm a translator, and they're not.